Dominik Mysterio has shocked the world when he kicked Edge in the balls and clotheslined his own flesh and blood. The man went from being one of the most beloved babyfaces with his father Rey Mysterio in a tag team to be one of the most hated heels in the Judgment Day. The reaction he got at the Raw after Clash of the Castle, it was absolutely crazy. The crowd wouldn't even let Dominik talk, and now ever since that day, there's been a more and more chance of Dominik versus Rey Mysterio happening at WrestleMania. Now at first, it was only something that we could dream about, but everything is different now. There's a new wrestling puppy in charge, and with the addition of Clash of the Castle happening, we're just getting closer and closer to it. With Dominik Mysterio being such a huge star and Rey Mysterio almost about to retire and hang up the boots, it would be a great time to have Dominik Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania 39. So I guess WWE has been building this storyline a lot because they've been showing us a bunch of videos of Dominik and Rhea Ripley going to Rey Mysterio's house and just causing a ruckus. Dominik has ruined Thanksgiving, Christmas, and he's about to do something even worse. Before that, it's a Royal Rumble and it's Demon Balor versus Edge inside Hell in a Cell. Now this match is heavily rumored to happen at the Royal Rumble, so why not include it in this storyline? Edge and Demon Balor tear each other apart in a gruesome match in this Hell in a Cell, and Demon Balor wins, and the feud with Edge is over. Now Finn Balor and the Judgment Day turn their attention with Rey Mysterio. Now it's the end of January, and Rey Mysterio is still on SmackDown, and the Judgment Day is still on Raw. But on episode of SmackDown, Rey Mysterio is getting ready for a match, and the entirety of Judgment Day just come out and attack. Judgment Day is not on Raw, they're on SmackDown. They somehow escaped inside. I don't know, bro. And then Rhea holds Rey up and he says, "You thought you can escape? You thought running away can solve your problems? Do you understand who we are? We are present day legend killers." Damian and Finn already took care of Edge and AJ, and now Rhea Ripley turns to Dominik. She says, "Dominik, end this son of a bitch." And now Rhea Ripley hands Dominik a random weapon, and it looks like Dominik is a little skeptical of hitting his father. But it doesn't matter because Dominik ends up beating the living shit out of Rey Mysterio, and the Judgment Day leaves SmackDown. And now Rey Mysterio's match on SmackDown gets cancelled and he gets moved to next week. Now the next week on SmackDown, Rey Mysterio is once again getting ready for his match and he gets attacked by the Judgment Day once again. This time they don't say a word, they do the deed and then they leave. And now Rey Mysterio still has to have that match, but now it gets pushed back to the week after. Actually, later at SmackDown, Rey Mysterio goes to Triple H's office and asks for some help and some advice. He says that I can't keep getting attacked every single week and you have to do something about it. And Triple H says that, "Look, I know you're going through some hard times, you're very emotional right now, but the best thing I can do is hire some extra security guards so no one can interrupt you and attack you, I guess." That's exactly what Triple H does. He gets a bunch of security guards for Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio doesn't know who are the guards because they're wearing face masks and they're covered with masks. So he doesn't know who's under the mask. Now Rey Mysterio is talking to the guards about his relationship with Dominik, getting close to the guards and stuff like that. And then just at the right time, guards unmask themselves and it turns out that they're the Judgment Day. They somehow came back and Rey Mysterio tries to run away, but their Judgment Day come right after him. He goes into Triple H's office and the Judgment Day stop at Triple H's door. They don't go into his office and they stop and leave. It feels like every week Rey Mysterio is being targeted, and that's the truth. Now the next Raw, actually, Judgment Day come out and they talk about Rey Mysterio. They say that he's a piece of I shouldn't curse too much. Saying that Rey Mysterio is overrated and he's a bad father. Now that sparks the eyes of Dominik. Dominik grabs the microphone and he says that, you know, ever since you picked Edge to be your tag team partner at Clash of the Castle, I knew there was something wrong with you. You picked the old, washed up, raggedy piece of Canadian man to be your partner, and kicking him in the balls and clotheslining you was the best decision I've ever made in my life. And I think this is where it all ends. I'm getting tired of beating you up every single week. So, Mr. Rey Mysterio, I'm gonna wrestle you at WrestleMania. Accept the challenge, Rey. You know you want to do it. You know you want to beat me up. I know I want to beat you up, and you've got absolutely nothing to lose. And Dominik smiles when he says nothing to lose. Because remember that line, that's gonna play into the storyline a little later. So that's how the segment ends. Dominik has fully lost it now, and he's challenging Rey Mysterio in a WrestleMania match. On the next SmackDown, Rey Mysterio comes out to the ring and he addresses his issues. He says that I've watched Raw Raw this week, and it wasn't very booyaka. I'm sorry. Seeing my own son wanting to hurt me isn't a very good sign. He always calls me a bad father, and I think I'm starting to realize it now. He says that maybe it's time to hang up the boots and let Dominik take over. And Rey Mysterio is kind of crying a little bit and really emotional on the mic, and I don't know, I'm kind of getting emotional too recording this, but hey. Anyways, Dominik is on the big screen, and he says that no one is hanging up the boots, no one is retiring just yet. Until I get my match with you, you're gonna stay an active wrestler, and I don't care if your last match is with me or with someone else, because at WrestleMania, it's gonna be me versus you. Now, Rey Mysterio doesn't accept the challenge. He doesn't want to hurt his baby boy. The next week on SmackDown, the Judgment Day is there once again, and they have a contract for Dominik Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania. And Dominik's signature is on the contract, and all they need is to find Rey Mysterio, and they find him backstage, and they force him to sign the contract. Finn and Damian hold him up while Rhea Ripley takes Rey Mysterio's hand and makes him sign the contract. Match is now set. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Rey Mysterio versus Dominik Mysterio is official at this point. At this point, Rey Mysterio gets traded back to Raw. And at this point, Rey Mysterio finally gets traded back to Monday Night Raw. And that means every week there's gonna be 4 people who are always gonna be harassing him. Now, on the same episode of Monday Night Raw, it's announced that Rey Mysterio is facing Damian Priest, and the match undergoes nothing special or too crazy. It shows Rey Mysterio is kind of slowing down in the ring and getting old. He still ends up winning the match. Quickly runs away before the Judgment Day could attack him. Later, it's announced that we're gonna see Finn Balor versus Rey Mysterio next week on Monday Night Raw. And the match starts, and Rey Mysterio is showing more signs of weakness and tiredness. He could barely do a 619, and he could barely get the win against Finn Balor, but he still ends up getting the win against Finn Balor. Now, Rey Mysterio has somehow, some way pulled off 2 miracles, and he got away with it. But he still has to face his son at WrestleMania. Now, on a backstage interview, Rey Mysterio is asked that, how do you feel going into your WrestleMania match against your own son? Now, Rey says that, I don't want to do this. I was forced to do this against my will. They held me up and made me sign the contract. But, this might be for the better. This might be a learning experience for Dom, and to learn to never mess with the master of the 619. And Rey Mysterio walks off. It looked like he wanted to fight Dominik for a second there. There was something wrong with him. But next week, not on Monday, not on Friday, not on Tuesday, definitely not on Wednesday, LB continues to do these pre-recorded videos where Dom and Rhea just break into Rey's house. And they do it again. Both Dominik and Rhea Ripley go into Rey's house and they completely trash the entire place. I'm talking Triple H, Randy Orton in 2023. They break everything they see, and they see that Rey Mysterio is pulling up into the driveway, and Rhea's like, we gotta get out of here. We destroyed everything. We gotta go now. Now, Dominik says it has some other plans in mind. He sees that Rey Mysterio walks into his house, and he sees that everything is destroyed, and now Dominik comes in with a clothesline, and once again clotheslines his father. Dominik beats him up and grabs him and shakes him, and that does the whole shebang. Tells him that, you're not my real father. I just know it. Dom and Rhea leave. It's a very serious storyline. Everything in this storyline has been 100% personal. Dominik wants to hurt his father. He doesn't want to hurt his son. Everything is kind of weird. But there's 3 weeks before WrestleMania. On Monday Night Raw, Judgment Day try to find Rey Mysterio, but they cannot find that Mysterio. They try finding him everywhere in the arena, but it looks like he's not there. And later that same episode of Raw, we get a video package or a pre-recorded video from Rey Mysterio saying that I took the next 3 weeks off because I'm sick and tired of all 4 of you people treating me like trash, and I'm not gonna walk into a big pile of disrespect every single week and get beat up for it. You've already destroyed my family, destroyed my Thanksgiving, my Christmas, and you even destroyed my house. I know all 4 of you are standing in the ring watching me right now. Whatever you're plotting at WrestleMania, I know deep down you're gonna make the right decision at WrestleMania, Dominik. So basically, Rey Mysterio is tired of getting beat up, and now the next time we're gonna see him is at WrestleMania. Next week, we got another live video from Rey Mysterio, and the Judgment Day are in the ring, and Dominik is talking trash about his father once again. Rey comes on the big stream, and he says to Dominik, you don't have to do this. We can both forfeit the fight. Everything can go back to normal normal. Now Dominik doesn't want that. He doesn't want to quit his match at WrestleMania. He tells his father that I'm gonna retire you at WrestleMania. Cause you might have not read the contract, but it stated that if you lose, you have to hang up the boot. You have to hang up the boots for good. Now the entire Judgment Day laughs, and that's how the segment ends. Now things have gotten more and more serious now. We just learned that if Rey Mysterio loses, he has to retire at 48 years old. The crowd just boos and boos and boos to Judgment Day even more and more. All they've done is tarnish the legacy of Rey Mysterio. But there's one more week left before WrestleMania. Next week on Raw, Rey Mysterio is once again on the big screen, and he tells the Judgment Day something. He wants to tell the Judgment Day something, but it looks like the Judgment Day already on Raw. Now Rey Mysterio isn't in the arena, so he doesn't know where they are. Now while Rey Mysterio is safe at home, he hears a noise. He hears a loud noise, almost the sound of a car. And guess who it is? Guess who crashes into Rey's house with the car or a truck or whatever? It's the Judgment Day. And this time, Dominik is nowhere to be found. He's not with the Judgment Day. And the Judgment Day literally just rammed the car up Rey Mysterio's house, and now he is pissed. He's mad at Dominik. He goes outside and he slaps the first person he sees, and he accidentally slaps Rhea Ripley. Yes, Rey of the Mysterio slaps a woman. I thought that would happen. The Ripley just screams, abuse, abuse, abuse. I'm getting assaulted. And then Rey Mysterio is mad. He wants to know where Dominik is. Judgment Day doesn't tell him. But since it's a 3-on-1 attack, they tie up Rey Mysterio and they take him with him. Make sure he doesn't no-show WrestleMania. His face is covered. It's all tied up. Can't see him. You can't see him. He can't see him. He gets carried out. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for WrestleMania. Dominik comes in with the entire Judgment Day, looking like he wants to kill his father. And Rey Mysterio walks out and gives the crowd a good ass entrance. The closer he gets to the ring, smile turns upside down. Bell rings, and not for a single second Rey Mysterio had ever thought of having a match like this. From the beginning, Rey Mysterio tries to grapple his son, just do some basic wrestling moves, nothing too special. But Dominik doesn't want to wrestle. He wants to end Rey. He shoves him in the corner and he lays waste to his father. A good portion of the match, Rey Mysterio is just getting beat up and the crowd is just booing the entire time. They absolutely hate Dominik. It's gotten to a point where he's just a universally hated son of a bitch. Later on in that match, Rey Mysterio gets up and he makes a huge decision. Before he does that, he says, I always love you, Dom. And he 619's his own father. And then he says, I love you, Dom, once again. And he goes for the frog splash. And he says, I'm sorry. And he goes for the pin. 1, 2, no. Kick out. Rey Mysterio respectfully tried to get the job done. That did not work. It made Dominik even more mad. And he gets even more offensive once again. Goes for the Three Amigos. Goes for a 619. He goes for a frog splash to end it all. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is not Paul Heyman, but Rey Mysterio is now retired. Dominik Mysterio has gotten a huge win against his own father, Rey Mysterio. And the Judgment Day come in to celebrate. They won, and the Judgment Day leaves after they celebrate, and Rey Mysterio gets back up to celebrate his 30+ year wrestling career in front of 80,000 fans in SoFi Stadium. It's a standing ovation from the crowd, and he rides off into the sunset. Really a sight to see here because I just retired Rey Mysterio. On the other hand, Dominik and the Judgment Day are probably the most hottest faction in WWE at this time. That's all I got for you in this video. We got 2 more videos left. Ronda Rousey vs. Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and the main event for night 2. You can probably guess what that is. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.